What is up, people? Matt here. So someone said that I should do the top 10 Bankai in Bleach. But instead of doing that, I thought I'd do my top 10 worst Bankai and top 10 best Bankai. So it's totally opinion based as usual. How I'm going to do it is, it's obviously going to be 1 to 5 or 5 to 1. Now the fifth one I rank is what I think is the non-weakest one. So it's the best, the strongest of the 5. Whereas at number 1, this is the one that I think that will be the weakest out of all of them. Now I'm going to try and give reasoning behind it. I'm not just going to say, oh, I think that's weak, end of. So I suppose I should get on with it. So at number 5 we've got Konjiki, Ashijo, CG, Jizo. So obviously that's Mayuri Kurosutsu's Bankai. He summons a massive caterpillar thing with a baby's head. It's a bit of a weird one. One of the first Bankai we pretty much see. And a lot of people think that it's a really strong one, but I don't think it is. All it pretty much does is poison gas. And yeah, it can land on you, or I think it's also got like loads of blades in its stomach that it can shoot out. Other than that, that's it. Naturally, if you inhale the poison, you're basically dead, unless you can actually beat Mayuri and take the antidote. But that's the whole thing. Mayuri's Bankai is just an aid. He can't use it as the main offensive, really. He has to probably attack as well as the Bankai, which I think is very good. I think you need to have a Bankai where you can just use it. Another thing I think that makes it a weak Bankai is he doesn't really have much of a connection with his Zanpakuto toe. I think he just uses it, he sees it as just another use of something instead of actually being a spirit or part of him. Obviously he experiments on it. I think that definitely weakens it. And another thing is when he beats Silopero in the Aranka arc, he breaks his Zanpakuto toe off just to punish it because it was taken over. It was controlled. What the fuck? Anyway, that's why I think Mayuri is definitely not the weakest, but he's definitely not got a very good Bankai in my opinion. So this next one's going to be very controversial. So at number 4 we've got Daiguren Hyurimaru, Toshiro Hitsugai's Bankai. A lot of people will go ape shit that I'm putting Toshiro's Bankai on this list because I know Toshiro is one of the favourite captains for a lot of people. But for starters, okay, yes, Toshiro's Zanpakuto is the strongest ice Zanpakuto. Rukia's might be more powerful though now. But Daiguren Hyurimaru is an ice Zanpakuto. So if you've got a fire Zanpakuto, like Yama, it's just going to totally fuck it. It's the same with Tia Haribel. Her water resurrection or whatever was beating Toshiro's hands down. And I'm pretty sure she would have beaten him if Aizen hadn't have come in. Another thing with Toshiro's, pretty much his only way of killing his enemy is freezing them and then smashing them. That's it. If they've got strong Reatsu, they can just break out the ice constantly, so he can't do anything really. That's why I think Toshiro's is a bit of a weak Bankai also. Definitely not one of the weakest, but not a very strong one either. So now we're getting on to the top 3. You know, these are fairly weak in my opinion. So at number 3 we've got Kokujo Tengen Myo. So obviously that's Sergeant Komamura's Bankai. The whole thing behind his is, I think with his Shikai he just summons the arm. With his Bankai he summons the whole giant or whatever, and he controls it by slashing, and then the giant slashes. But there's so many massive flaws with his Bankai. Number 1 is totally slow. if it's even a somewhat fast opponent, there's no way they're going to get hit. Second major flaw: if you attack the giant, you actually it inflicts damage on Komamura also. So basically, they can just easy target really, and that's pretty much it for his whole Bankai. It's just a massive giant that he controls. That's why I don't think it's a very strong Bankai either. There's not really many positives to it whatsoever, to be honest. So yeah, that's all I want to say about that really. So at number 2 we got Jacko Raikoben, Soiphone's Bankai. Another pretty simple one. She just has a massive missile and she fires it. That's pretty much it. And okay, yes, if it hits, it's pretty much guaranteed KO, dead, finished. But if it misses, that's it. She's got one shot. I think I remember her saying she can only use it once per day, if that, apparently. So she misses with it, that's it. The other thing is, she doesn't like using it. She thinks it's a very destructive Bankai, definitely not a stealth force thing. So she doesn't like using it. So maybe that means she hasn't been trained. She hasn't trained a lot with it. So maybe she hasn't got a whole mastery of it, which would totally make sense. So not only can she only use it once, like a fight, she probably hasn't trained a lot with it, and she doesn't like using it even. So it's just totally not going to work. And that's going to kind of connect with what I think is the weakest Bankai. And I think a lot of people might think this is bullshit, but I actually do think this is, and it makes sense somewhat. So, my number 1 weakest Bankai, in my opinion, is Ryomen Huzukimaru, Ikkaku Madarame's Bankai. Now, I'm almost positive Ikkaku is the only non-lieutenant and even non-captain to have a Bankai, apart from Ichigo, because he's not even like he's not even a proper ranked Soul Reaper. So you might think, holy crap, you know, if he's actually Bankai, he's got Bankai, he must be pretty powerful. He himself is powerful. His Bankai, utter shit. So straight away, we've got an even worse case with this. Soiphone didn't like using her Bankai. Ikkaku flat out literally refuses to use it, ever. There's only one time he actually ever uses it in the anime, I'm pretty sure, and it's when he's fighting that Arrancar, and he fucking loses pretty much still, even after using it. Another thing is, because he doesn't like using it and he refuses to use it, clearly he hasn't trained a whole lot with it, I'm assuming. So he probably hasn't got a mastery of it whatsoever. And secondly, it's very cumbersome, even if he is a strong person. It's basically a massive thing he holds up. Like it's a massive kind of two-handed shear thing. And as he's building up energy on it, the dragon, you know, fills up, and when it gets to finally reaches max, it goes. How has he got time to charge that? If he's in a fight with someone that literally genuinely wants to fucking kill him, they're going to kill him before it fills up, and he's going to be dead. And he can't use it if he's dead. So it annoys me, because everyone's like, oh, Ikkaku should become a captain, he's got to learn the fucking Bankai. Yeah, he's got the fucking weakest Bankai. He'll be the weakest captain, easily, if he became a captain. So, a lot of people, I'm going to say something now and it's going to piss a lot of people off, I'm sure. Pre like Zero Squad training, I'm pretty sure Renji's got the stronger Bankai, and everyone shits on Renji's Bankai because everyone thinks it's not very good. But at least Renji hasn't got a fucking weight to attack with it, and at least he can actually use it strategically. And after training with the Zero Squad, his Bankai is fucking fused to him, so it's even faster and stronger. Ikkaku's is just slow, probably is very strong, but he hasn't got time to fucking charge it. I mean, and another thing is he's only the third seat. I know Yachiru is lieutenant, but if Ikaku is genuinely stronger than Yachiru, technically he should be the lieutenant of the squad, because he's still serving under Kenpachi. But why is he only the third seat? And you know, it just doesn't make sense. I just don't think Ikaku's not that strong a fighter. Everyone likes to put him up there with the lieutenants. I don't think he's as strong as the other lieutenants. I genuinely don't think he is. He probably is stronger than some of them, but he's definitely not like the best lieutenant ever, and he's definitely not even on par with a captain, I don't think. Especially considering his Bankai. So yeah, that was my list of what in my opinion, is the top 5 weakest Bankai. Let me know what you think. Do you agree with my list? Do you definitely not agree with my list? Who do you think has the weakest Bankai out of like everyone that actually has a Bankai? And as always, thank you for watching my video, and I'll definitely see you on the next one. Bye now.